I can no longer fly, but wait, can I do Dragonriding? Is that... Oh, hey! Look at that, that's pretty cool. That is a really ugly dragon, my goodness. What's going on, guys? I am Pride, the creative director of Bonus Roll, so who better than me, someone who looks at UI and UX and everything all day long, to talk to you guys a little bit about these UI refreshments that we've got for Dragonflight. This is the alpha, and so I would expect many changes to occur from now and release. But let's take a look at what they've got so far here in the game. All right, well, number one, let's get into position here next to the greatest king in the history of the Alliance. All right, so taking a look around just really quickly, kind of like first impressions, right? The bags, I noticed the bags. I obviously noticed the menu, right? That kind of looks weird. The character icon looks a little strange, but it is what it is. Definitely noticing these action bars, these very kind of compressed action bars. Actually love that. Matter of fact, as we get into things, I think what we're going to see is that more or less what Blizzard has done is just kind of incorporated, like, bartender into the game. Is kind of what it seems like. Another thing I'm noticing, and it's really, I'm noticing the lack of it, I'm not seeing the new character portrait panels up here in the corner. There were definitely some of those, some changes to that in the screenshots and the video that we saw of the new UI during the Dragonflight announcement video. Another thing, the map looks a little different to me, but I could be misremembering that. I thought I remembered the old map having a lot more gold in it. Like, I think the whole ring was gold. I also notice, just kind of off the corner of my eye, if you look here, right in here, and up here, obviously on all these corners, there's not... Like, I feel like some masking could have gone into that to just go ahead and fill that spot in there with part of the map itself instead of just having it be transparent. Hopefully that's one of those things that they're going to improve on as we move forward from the alpha to the beta and then to retail. But that's definitely something I notice, and as like a UI UX kind of person, designer if you will, like it's noticeable and it's bothersome. Noticeable and bothersome. But, hey, I'm really digging the rest of this. I was hoping to get to see that new character UI up here at the corner. Like I said, your target of target, things like that. But unfortunately, we won't get to see that. Another thing that has not changed, and I don't believe I saw any changes in the original announcement video either, would be the chat box, which is, like, in my opinion, one of the most archaic things about the user interface in Blizzard games as a whole. I mean, ultimately, it's like, I feel like if we were gonna modernize something, it should have been the chat box. It's just, I don't know. One thing I would compare sort of this overall look to, this overall change, right, would be that if you remember going to websites way back in the day, like the early 2000s and stuff, like if you went to like a Dragon Ball fan site or like a TV show fan site or a video game fan site or something along those lines, they would have like these outrageous designs. They would have like massive pictures everywhere, and like, you know, they would have just, it would be graphically just crazy, right? Very thematic, right? I don't really know the best way to explain that, but just picture in your mind some of the old websites you went to where they were just so integrated and whatnot, and then look at like more of a modern website. Go to a website today. Hell, go to bonusroll.gg right now, right? Like, it's so clean, it's so sleek. It's, you know, it's white and black as a back row, well, an off-white and a very dark color, usually a dark purple or something like that. But pure black and pure white aren't great design color choices. Just, there's some tip for you there. But the idea is that they're very clean, they're very sleek, and then you get these little pops of color in like headlines and buttons and, maybe an image here or there, in advertisements and whatnot. But typically speaking, it's, it's going to be either a really light or a really dark background with those pops of color coming into frame with buttons and other little UI elements, like small things. It's kind of like that. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from these changes that Blizzard is making, which isn't a bad thing to me. I'm, as someone who does this for a living, like, that's just kind of the trend. That's what people tend to like these days. It's what translates well. And so, like, even if you look down here at this menu, right? Like, that looks very similar to menus. Like, it looks inspired by social media menus on every website. Like, 9 out of 10 websites are going to have their social media in clear or boxed icons, right? So instead of having text and things like this, it's going to be the icons. And they're very clean, they're very sleek, usually white on black or color on white or color on black. In this case, we've gone with that off-white color in a box in sort of a clear background. They actually probably could have just gone without the background and had the same effect. The only other thing you'll really notice is the bags, and yes, there's the whole thing about the extra bag. So kudos to all of us, we got the extra bag. We've all been asking for it forever. You got the map. Do like the map, but I'm hoping they'll change that little thing right there. And please, for the love of God, Blizzard, let's do something about this archaic chat box thing. Like, there's no reason to have this at all. Like, it should just be, like, just take it all away. Just give us, like, a nice little background that's optional, and just leave the rest of it alone, right? Sorry to all of you out there who just checked your phones because you thought you got a text message. That was me. That was me. But that's my kind of what I'm getting vibe from this whole initial kind of on-look thing. But that, of course, is not the extent of the new UI changes. Let's go right here into edit mode. And what we've got here is the ability to change these action bars and have a lot of custom English, ladies and gentlemen, English. Have a lot of customization and configurability to them. So, for example, we can change the number of rows, we can change the number of icons, we can change how big or small they are, we can change them to always visible, only visible while we're in combat, or only visible when we're out of combat. I can see some uses for these things, but typically speaking, I'm pretty sure the majority of us are going to keep this to always visible. We can also change whether this is a vertical bar or a horizontal bar. And we can, of course, revert all changes back to normal. One thing I do really, really like, though, is this quick keybind mode. It's just click on it, character specific, or for all of your characters is fine. And then you just mouse over it. Like, so this one is Shift 1. We can change this to, like, Control Shift A. Boom. I mean, it's just like that. You just roll over it, change it to whatever you want, change it back, Shift 1, Shift 2, and it's just that easy. It's just that easy. I really like that. Obviously, there are some add-ons that will allow that, but I mean, there are add-ons. Bagnon, for example, is, wow, that was crazy. I don't know what just happened there. But anyways, like, Bagnon does everything that we just did, and of course, other add-ons, maybe even Bagnon can do it as well. Or not Bagnon, what am I doing? Bartender. Jeez, Bartender can do that as well. But I actually really enjoy that. Anytime that Blizzard takes add-ons and just puts them into the base game, especially add-ons that have forever been around and have been incredibly popular, you know, obviously that's a really good way. That's static feedback to Blizzard to say, hey, we would like this sort of customization within our UI. And I don't know why it's taking them, you know, this long to do it, but here we are. We've finally gotten around to it. So not quite as in-depth as Bartender was. But it gives you pretty much the basics and everything that you need to really customize the look and feel of your action bar. There's also action bar settings, which gives us a little bit more customization as well. So we can turn on all of our different action bars that we didn't have on the screen yet. We'll turn those off though. I also want to point out the art is really awesome. The art is fantastic. I love that. One of the key areas I think that Blizzard really needed to focus on in modernizing this UI was that stuff. They kept talking about how they wanted to stay in tune with the original feel of things. I think they did a fantastic job with that. Love how much smaller the experience bar is. Hoping that we can get a little bit more customization with that in the near future as well. But for now, I don't see it being too much of a big deal. One thing that does bother me though, and I think we can turn it off. I'm gonna have to find it here. But I'm pretty sure that we can turn that off. Is this little thing here that scrolls through your action bars, 1, 2, 1, 2. And just, I don't like that being there because it looks kind of like a weird, strange, like, armor piece for the left side griffin. Alright, so you actually changed that. I was looking through it in the menus and whatnot, and it wasn't there. And then, you know, my brain decided it wanted to work. So you actually hide that here, and I think that looks way better. Let's exit out of that. Let's save that. Let's exit out of this and look like it's so perfect. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's jump over into a new zone and we can do a little questing and things like that, because there are some other elements to the UI that I feel that we should be looking at right now. Alright, so here we are in the Azure span. I can no longer fly, but wait, can I do Dragonriding? Is that... Oh, hey, look at that. That's pretty cool. That is a really ugly dragon, my goodness. So we do have this UI here for Dragonriding, which... There we go. That's kind of difficult to explain, to be honest with you. That's... Wow. So, like, this little bar here has to fill up, right? While you're on the ground. And the more you sit here, the more it fills up. And then you get one of these things. Right? And then once you get one of those, then... Because right now I'm just jumping. It's not letting me fly. But once this bar fills up, it seems like this little guy will kick on. And we'll be able to fly again. But that's an interesting little UI thing. So we'll throw that in there. Why not? So again, there doesn't really seem to be too much new in any of the combat UI or anything. But I do know from some previous things that there is a new spellcasting bar. So I definitely want to take a look at that. There also is this little guy here, which I will land really quickly. And we will dismount. And I want to throw this on, and I want to throw invisibility on, and I guess I don't have it on my action bars. We'll throw arcane intellect on as well. And look at that. So now we have these, you have an arrow here that allows you to change or minify some of the buffs, and I'm assuming perhaps debuffs as well. We'll have to see, I guess. Although it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, really, would it, for us to get rid of, like... Let's do this too, and this. Let's just load this thing up on, well, that doesn't do anything. We'll just load this little guy up on different things. So, apparently it's just, static things that it gets rid of. So, just like arcane intellect. But anything on a short timer, or maybe it's time-based. I don't know. Time will tell. I'm not going to sit here for an hour and wait to find out. But it is an interesting thought, nonetheless. I actually want to find something. Here we go. We'll find something to kill here because we can take a look at this very, very awesome new UI for Spellcasting. Did you guys see that? I really dig that. This is, like, I like it, but it just seems a little smaller than I think I would want it to be. You know? Like, just a touch there. So, oh look, we have this. Oh, so we've got this new HUD here. Is this new? Or do I just have that turned off in retail? It could be either one, to be honest with you. I think it's new, though. I think it's the new heads-up display. Because I do recall seeing that in the options. So, I'm actually very fortunate that I saw it. So, I believe that is new. That's the new heads-up display. For your character when you are in combat or recently out of combat. You know, I don't want to like be super critical and boring and go into like design philosophy and things like that. Like, you know, I'm a player too, and so I just want to really enjoy all the changes. Like I said, I'll spend the majority of my time complaining about the holes in the map by the arrows. But other than that little thing and wanting to see more, like wanting to see the new character plates up at the top, like this was a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching this, staying with me and watching this whole probably way too long video for a UI video, but damn if it wasn't fun to do, and I had a lot to talk about, I guess. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and be sure to stay tuned right here to bonusroll.gg for a whole bunch more alpha coverage. I've got some really cool ideas of videos to do coming up in the future, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy them as well. So stay tuned right here to bonusroll.gg on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at bonusrollgg. And while you're at it, if you find yourself bored and needing something to listen to while you're out there traveling and adventuring in the real world, hit up our podcast directory and find your perfect podcast.